Well, good morning, everyone. How are you today? So, my name is Gloria Savanto. I'm from Ceba Beach, Alberta, Canada, and this is day 5 of the Helen Martin Go Live Challenge. So, yesterday I was talking about a book that I had read called The Boundaries. And this Go Live today is going to be an extension of me overcoming boundaries with family, friends, and relatives that have, basically held me back and just basically where I had to draw the line in the sand with certain individuals. So today's Go Live, I actually had to network with another business partner of mine in order to come up with a topic that wasn't going to be, too traumatic for the individuals. And so we lightened it back to where I think this is going to be probably surprising to a lot of people, but hopefully it'll be impactful and inspiring to some of the viewers that are watching today. So the Go Live that I want to talk about, or the topic I want to talk about today is something I haven't thought about in a long time. And this is the lack of support I received from my parents when I was in my teenage years. So as we know, young girls, maybe not all young girls, but most of the young girls that I knew and associated with, we were all just little rebels, just totally uncontrollable. And it's not like we were running around the neighborhood playing with boys or whatever, but we were just obviously defiant and we weren't too much trouble, but we did create a lot of trouble and headaches for our parents nonetheless. Okay, so in my elementary years is where it really started to come out because of certain situations that were happening around the home, but in junior high school is where it really started to become prevalent. I was basically at the time in my life where, a lot of us are starting to figure out what we want to do with our lives. And, we had hopes and dreams, okay? You're 13, 14 years old, and you talk to your girlfriends about your hopes and dreams and what you'd like to accomplish maybe for your life. I remember sitting in drama class, and I was talking to a girlfriend of mine, and she's still a friend of mine today. And I told her, I said, you know what? I'm going to go to Europe within a year. And she's like, I don't know how you're going to be able to do that. But, there's no way you're going to be able to go. I said, I'm going to Europe in a year. I don't care what you say, I'm going. I don't care how I have to get there, I'm going. And I had to figure out and strategize and, try to come up with a plan as how I was going to get to Europe. Well, my parents were like, no way, you're not going anywhere. My parents wouldn't let me really out of their sight for the longest time. And it was because of the behavior that I was doing in my home. And I guess it gave them some sort of indication that I was going to actually become a wild child. And you know what? For the longest time, I was just an absolute wild child. I mean, I did what I want. I didn't care really what people said. But when it came to living in a home and it came to living with the parents that I had, it was the friction there was just unbelievable. So it was it was a really, really tough go. Like the situations there were really tough. The addictions and habits that I was forming at the time, just unbelievable. Unbelievable. For that time, I mean, I guess I was hanging around with other people that were also doing these same bad habits. And I had decided that, you know what, I'm going to do what I want with my life. At 15, I said, I'm going to do what I want with my life. And I'm going to go do what I need to do in order to make me happy, because I knew that the situation that I was in was not a good situation. So how I got to Europe, I would talk to a lot of my teachers and I would get ideas from them because my parents were just adamant about me doing anything. I was a French horn player in the junior high school band, and the suggestion to me was that I try out for Edmonton All City, which is basically their junior symphony. I tried out, and the music instructor at the time was the same instructor who taught all of my brothers and sisters, all my older brothers and sisters, and he was actually quite surprised to see that there was another one at the end. I come from a family of 10 kids, and I was number 9. So I tried out, and then I explained my situation to him, and I said, you know what, I just can't, I can't afford to take band in high school, but I will promise that I will practice and I will make all the meetings and stuff like that. And lo and behold, Um, 8 months later, I found myself landing at the Frankfurt airport in Germany. I was 15. My parents were just totally against me going because, unbeknownst to me, they were horrified that I was never going to come back. And and if my parents can think that, then you have to understand just how brutal it was growing up in that household. And I never looked back after that. I just really never looked back after that because I developed an inner strength that taught me that, you know what, my parents weren't supporting me in anything that I did. And that's the same with me graduating from high school. They were shocked that I graduated from high school. That season coming up after grad, I filled out my application to go to NAIT. I remember my dad sitting at the table telling me it was a pipe dream, that I would never be able to go to college. I couldn't afford it. And who was going to hire a female engineer anyways? And this was back in 1986. It was very tough at that time. It was unbelievable, to live in a home where you're trying to carve out a future and you're a young adult and you're trying to figure out what you're going to do with your life and you face resistance everywhere you go. Well, I didn't need my parents' approval for that. I mean, I didn't need them to sign on papers. I didn't need their financial support at the time because I was working full time. So throughout high school, I was working full time. And I was doing my 35, 40 hours a week at a fast food restaurant that was paying me a better wage than most people were making full time at a regular job. It was unbelievable. So that's how I was able to afford a lot of the trips that I did in high school and then, of course, through college. So they talk about how it has changed or benefited my life. So this is just a little bullet point I'm reading here. How it has changed my life is that I had realized growing up at a young age that I could do anything I wanted. And if I put my nose to the grindstone and if I was actually able to formulate a plan and see it through, I was going to be successful in anything that I did. And it was the same even when I was long moved out of the house and I told my parents, and this was way after, but I told my parents I'd gotten my Class 1 license to go driving truck. Well, I thought that was going to kill my father. I thought that was absolutely going to kill him. Now, you remember, my dad was born in 1924, and he fought in World War II. Women didn't do stuff like that. And he wasn't going to have his daughter do stuff like that either. It disappointed him when I quit my fast food restaurant to go work for an engineering company in downtown Edmonton. It totally disappointed him. It disappointed him that I wasn't going to get married and be a housewife and stay at home and raise children. It floored him. Like he was just, he was disgusted. There was a lot of times my dad would look at me and it would be with total disgust because I was doing what I wanted to do with my life. So to be in a situation where if I'm not getting support from my parents, where was I going to look for a support system? I looked within myself. I had to look deep within myself and look at myself and say, listen, this is what you need to do. And this is what you have to do with your life. Okay. And there was a lot of self-talk going up in my head. Lots, daily, every day. I have to formulate this self-talk, even at the age that I am at today. So I want to encourage people that if you're not getting the support that you need, that if you're not, getting words of encouragement from the people that are supposed to love you, understand this is coming from a point of their comfort, okay? What you're doing is making them uncomfortable and they just don't understand it. And I had to read multiple books in order to understand that if somebody wants you to do something or don't want you to do something, it's coming from their place of comfort, not yours. It's coming from their level of understanding, not yours. So typically what that means is that these people just don't understand what you're doing and they're scared for you and they're scared for them because they might have to learn something new. They might have to step outside their comfort zone in order to allow you to grow. And that was the biggest challenge and the biggest thing I had to learn about learning to be an individual, learning to do what I felt that what was best for my own life. And in order for me to move forward in anything, business, relationships, even buying a new vehicle and stuff like that, I had to learn to rely upon myself and do my due diligence in order for me to make the correct choices that were for my life. And this process hasn't changed. I'm 53 years old. And I still have people who are uncomfortable with some of the decisions I'm making. And I have to look at it from their point of view. And that is that they're not comfortable with it. They don't understand it, and they just don't see it being a fit for them. So if it doesn't fit them, they're thinking that maybe you shouldn't do it as well. So I hope that this go live is going to help a couple of people maybe understand me a little bit better, and maybe understand why you might think I'm bullheaded, why you think maybe I'm stubborn, why you think I just go about, I can just take off at a whim and just go, well, I'm heading out to the coast today, and I didn't really think it through, but I'm just taking off. This is part of my upbringing. This is part of where I came from. And this is where I want to inspire other people that if you're not receiving the support, but you feel deep down inside yourself that this is the best choice for you, I want you to actually just go out and do it. Because you know what? Once you step outside that comfort zone and you get really uncomfortable, I'll tell you how liberating that is. I'll tell you how just, you'll wake up and sometimes jump for joy out of bed in the morning, because this choice that you've made for yourself is the best thing that you're ever going to do. So thank you for watching today. That is my go live. I have a bunch of stuff I need to look after today since it is Monday. And you guys have an awesome week, and we'll talk soon. Okay, bye.